Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Hearts of Iron 4, continuing on with my Make Love Not War series. And let's go ahead and start things up. And at the moment, we can modify the government, but if I remember correctly, I'm saving up for a more expensive advisor, probably the mobile warfare expert, which is not only going to give us a army experience gain, but also mobile warfare doctrine reduction of cost, which will be good, of course. And how are the relations going on here? So we've got fascist support up to 40% in Czechoslovakia. We could try and do another coup. We're working on one in Poland. I want to see what happens with this to see if it affects world tension. Because if it does, we may want to not do that so much in the future. But over here we have 40% fascist support. And then looks like relations improvement has stopped over in Hungary. And I'm also improving or giving support to the fascists over here in Yugoslavia, which we're at 27% at the moment. I think once we're done with the Polish thing, or we've gotten enough fascist support in some of these countries to get a majority, we might move on to another country. All right, so we've got maintenance companies, so we're going to need to make a few different changes here. But first, let's go ahead and check out what tech we want to get now. So nothing here till 39, nothing here till 38. Although I could go with paratroopers. I haven't ruled that out yet. Tanks we haven't done the thing for yet. Artillery we still have anti-tank. Land doctrine we could do now because it is 50% off, and I don't see a reason why not to. Just want to make sure there's something else I'm not missing. I could do this ahead of time, but the 50% off would make it not so bad. But we don't need factory repair speed to be rushed, so there's no real reason to do that. I could do this just to get it over with. 61 days is not too long. I think that might be the route I go. A lot of it depends on... Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that because it's a nice quick tech. All right. And I need to keep an eye on this. I think I need 250 if I remember correctly. And how's our time going here? Oh, we got the treaty with USSR. Okay, Poland seeks Baltic cooperation. There is no outcome for us that does not risk yet more oppression of the Polish people. Following Poland's distancing from the international community, Polish politicians have been pursuing the idea of power between the seas. While the hope is to create an alliance stretching from the Baltic to the Black Sea, their stated priority remains to reinforce their position against threatening influences to both the East and the West. To this end, Poland is seeking closer bonds with their neighbors in the Baltic, which would be up here. Okay, they're clearly attempting to threaten the German Reich. Oh, no. Okay, we did the treaty with USSR. I didn't see that fire off, though. So I don't know if we got it or not. There's one way to tell, for sure. We go to tanks. Okay, maybe we just have to wait for the event to clear out. Now, Army Innovations number 2, I don't know if I want to do. I could do this. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. What else could I do? I could do Air Innovations and kind of wait things out. Because for this, we need to field more troops. Not really ready for Army Innovations number 2 because we already have some bonuses. Although this gives me even more of a research bonus for the Panzer III if we were to get that. And we're getting rid of the ahead of time bonus as well. That's tempting. We'd get the Panzer III really darn quick, but I think Air Innovations is the better course of action here. We also get some airfield bases, and we do get a chief of the Air Force, possibly. Yeah, I'm going to go with Air Innovations. Okay. Now, I do have some army experience here, and I think I want to use it. Well, first things first, we've got the maintenance company, so let's go ahead and add that on here. And I'm thinking about adding on another infantry battalion here. I'm going to get another mobile battalion here for our Panzer divisions. We're going to do motorized infantry. I'll do one more, actually. There we go. So we've got 2 extra motorized battalions, and then we've got a maintenance company added on. Now, this should increase the manpower, obviously, but also, I think, increase the overall effectiveness of our Panzer divisions. Okay. And over here, the SS division I could actually add on armor to, if I wanted to, but for now, I'm just going to leave it be. I don't think there's really any other divisions. Now, I kind of wonder, would a maintenance division benefit a motorized? Do they have reliability? I'm trying to see. Yes, no, okay. They don't really have a stat for reliability, it doesn't look like. So, okay, so there's no reason to do that, as far as I can tell. All right, so that's going to be the change for now. We'll save up the rest of the army experience for later to improve tanks or other equipment. All right. We've got the Hindenburg disaster. And it says, oh, the humanity here. Soviets accept the German-Soviet treaty. So that's what I was waiting for. Our negotiations with the Soviet Union have been successful. An agreement has been reached where our nations will aid each other in the development of new armored units with a possible extension of other research areas in the future. All right, so we also get some improved relationship with them, and we were improving relations anyway. Let's take a look at that. So that we're now at 100. Their opinion of us is 100. And our opinion of them is 31. All right, so that's good. Now we can... Oh, and I did pop out a tank unit over here. And we'll add that onto the Red Army. And I'll put that tank right here. You know, and I want to spread these guys out a little bit more. There we go. No particular reason why I am setting them up one way over another, but... Okay. What is our manpower out there now? Okay, so still about 100,000 under where we need to be. Let's go ahead and allow time to advance here. We did choose our next focus, yeah. Okay. And how is our per day power change? Okay. So I still don't feel like... Ooh. Marco Polo Bridge incident. So this is the Japanese thing with the Chinese. Which may increase tension here. Yeah, Japan up 1%. This is about to end. All they have here is Barcelona. And I'm going to assume the Italian front, yeah, has not changed at all. The Italians just cannot beat the Ethiopians for some reason. Very odd. In a way, a good thing, because it delays world tension, but we don't want a bunch of world tension happening all at the same time. That could be problematic. We can expect a war, Japan versus a couple of the Chinese nations, that will probably push up world tension. So we want some of this world tension stuff to go away. For instance, this and the Republican, well, the Spanish thing in general. And Japan, the Chinese border incident. We want that to calm down, hopefully, before we do anything to get that world tension up any higher so that we can keep the British out of a lot of their focus groups. But it may not be possible to do that 100%. 5% is really not all that high. Oh, and construction-wise. Okay, so we're looking at... Will be 52 civilian factories. I think I'm going to build 3 more. Don't think it particularly matters where they are, but I'll put one there, and one there. So there's our 3. And then after that, I'll build a military factory. And I'll put it right there. Okay. Then we'll finish that off with a finery, which we'll put over here. All right, so we got our civilian construction set up. Recruitment continues here. Fortunately, we're a little short on equipment, which is the reason why these guys aren't popping out. And how is our training going? We keep adding fresh, newer units here, so there's always gonna be guys that can train up here. We do have guys over here that can train as well. I'm just gonna, for the sake of attrition and the possibilities of how much supplies I'll take up, I'm gonna hold off on having both armies train as long as we're lend-leasing supplies over here. Okay, we have available planes and reserves. All right, well, I don't really care about the HE-51s. BF-109, so that means we have more fighters than we're currently using, and we also have more close air support than we're currently using. So we can shuffle some of that around. How about I make a fighter wing? I'll put one down here, I think. And we will make... We have exactly 100 fighters, which I think is where I want those guys at. And then we'll accept that. And then... I guess we can just add... Oh yeah, shift. There we go, 100. And we'll hit OK for that. And then, okay. Let's get an evaluation here of our other air wings. Probably don't have a lot of close air support over in the east here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the last, let's say about 100 there. Over here. Wait. Yeah, okay. That's what I want. And over here, we'll change this to 150. Perfect. And I could do that with some other fighter wings as well. Increase the fighter numbers. Matter of fact, I don't even have a fighter wing here. So why don't I do that? Okay. Give them a fighter wing. And this is good. We actually want a lot of fighter production here because the fighter production... Actually, I'm going to go with 200 here. I'm not producing Navy bombers, although I could produce Navy bombers. And over here, we have 150 fighters. Down here, I think I just set it to be 100. So we can change that to 150. And what's over here? Set that to 150. There. Now we're using our resources a little bit better. And there should be a lot more demand here for fighters. And another thing I'm noticing is we have more transports than we need. So I'm going to just cancel this altogether. And where would I put the production if I needed to? Well, we're behind on tactical bombers, but we're definitely behind on motorized equipment, and that's more of a need right now. We're actually behind on artillery as well. I am looking forward to getting more factories, actually, because we're a little bit behind on production, in my opinion. But once we get these civilian factories built, I can just start cranking out military factories. Because I'd be pretty satisfied with where we are, with how many we're going to have. Now, one change I can make to our government is I can switch up our economy. Oh, actually, we're already on partial mobilization. Okay, we got radio. And let's see. It's not far off from being able to afford the land doctrine guy, so we could go for that tech now. Don't think there's anything else going on in 37 or before it that we need to focus on. So, except for a heavy fighter, possibly. But I think it's land doctrine time for sure. Either that or we get anti-tank guns, but I'm not ready for the production of those, so yeah, I think it's land doctrine time. So we'll go with time delay here. Search. And once we get up to 250, we can start influencing things. Ooh, we've got another tech popping. We'll take a look at that in a second. I just want to see where we are politically. So we're 41% fascist, and this is going to be happening in January of 38. So we're about 6 months away from that. Over here, 41%, and Yugoslavia is at 30%. Okay, so things are progressing very nicely. Let's go ahead and slow time down a little bit, but we'll let it tick. All right, so there were things that I could do that were 436 that we're not currently working on, and I think I'm going to go with anti-tank guns. All right, there we go. Speed that time back up. And I'm going to have to keep an eye over here. See when the infantry pops. So they should be getting there. For some reason I'm just not getting the equipment out. But we have a lot of equipment demands going every which way, especially considering that I just modified the tank units. Okay, we've got free dockyards. So we must have finished a ship production, so we'll do that. Oh, we still need one more, huh? Okay, there you go. Okay. Out of curiosity, what do we have ship tech in? Oop. Amelia Earhart disappears. I think I'm going for construction of one of these guys. Probably should be going for the higher tech Nuremberg class. You know what? I'm going to switch that now. So I would like the Nuremberg class instead. And we'll produce 4 of those. Okay. Okay, more tech unlocking here. And I think it's getting to the point where pretty much we are going to be doing everything for 36 here. We've done everything for 37. I mean, we could do air doctrines here, but we're about to do a tech for that. So I think we might as well do the last plane 436 to produce. Or I could do tanks. And then we get the Panzer III a couple years ahead of time. You know, I'm going to do the tank, but then I probably will, the next tech we unlock, which will be this one, I'll do the heavy fighter. So that's the game plan for now. Get the tank researched. So we can get on producing that. Have that a couple years ahead of time. We're about a year and a half ahead of time. All right, let's see how the war is progressing here. So they're squeezing them down here. Once Barcelona falls, it will be all over. Over in Italy, though, or I guess Ethiopia, I should say, nothing has changed. So they've been at a war for more than a year and a half now, and they've been unable to beat the Ethiopians. Not really good news. Okay. So there's the declaration of war, and there's the war tension. We couldn't avoid it. The Japanese pretty much pushed that up. So now the British can use that. And, of course, they just got their focus. So the British can do that immediately. Now, as long as we keep it below 10%, they are limited in some regards as well. All right, so Japanese build up on Chinese border. And then, of course, the war. And there's probably going to be more war here, too, which is unfortunate. Okay, manpower's still not there, so with our focus choices here, more than likely I'm going to go with the tactical over strategic. And then, what do we get here? Air experience. And then we get a national spirit that gives us okay, so doctrine research time and jet technology research time, and then we also get radar technology out of that. Okay, well, that's all good stuff, I guess. And what does this do? Gains national spirit, German rocketry, which grants research time minus 10%, and rocket site construction time plus 15%. And then after that, we might be able to get the extra research slot. So that might be a good plan. We go with tactical air effort, air innovations 2, rocketry, extra research slot. If we can't do this, I have a feeling we'll get this before we get some of these things, but it's at least a plan. Because we already did these things. Yeah, let's do tactical air effort. These start moving in that direction. Alright, let's see what the British do. Looks like they already did fortify the rock. So they didn't take advantage of some of these other techs. See, world tension 5%, world tension 5%. They could have done either of these things. Whereas fortify the rock, I don't actually remember where that is. Should be under Mediterranean, right? Yeah, here, fortify the rock. That has nothing to do with world tension. Now, if it gets to 10%, they can do general rearmament, where they get a lot of their really good focuses. So if we can keep it below that, that'd be nice. Of course, a lot of that depends upon what the Japanese do here. So let's go ahead and advance. Yep, there they go, pushing it to 20%. So now the British have pretty much free reign, and I have a feeling that this is not going to tick off fast enough. So much for keeping world tension low. Yeah, now it's at 23%. Because the Soviet Union just sent a bunch of volunteers to China. Which is interesting. I don't think that's something that they would do normally. What are they working on? Alright. So the British, as I said, once they get Fortify the Rock done, they're pretty much free to do whatever focus they want. Now, if we can keep it under 25%, that keeps the Americans out of a lot of things. So, hopefully we can manage that, but you never know. How are things going diplomatically, though? Alright, so we're looking at 42% support here, and 43% over in Poland. The Poles have war goals against Lithuania, which may start a war. Alright, I apologize. There's a little bit of a jump here. I unintentionally cut off the recording there. And I did go a little bit beyond this point, so I had to go back to an autosave. But fortunately, I noticed that the recording had stopped not long after this. And I think from what I saw looking over the recording again, I was talking about some things going on with Poland's politics here. And we were mentioning that Poland had war goals against Lithuania. And then I was looking over at Lithuania because I was thinking, maybe it would be a good idea to guarantee them independence to try and stop a war here, bring down world tension. And if Poland did declare war on Lithuania, it would drag us into a war, and it wouldn't be a direct declaration of war from me against Poland. So as far as I was concerned, that would be a good thing, and it wouldn't be going against my rule of not declaring war on anyone directly. But I can't do that because they're not actually a fascist nation. So if I had had the foresight earlier to make them have fascist support and turn them fascist, maybe I could have done that, but of course I can't. And then I think after that, I was looking at Yugoslavia to see where their fascist support was. And then that was pretty much it. And then I noticed the recording was cut off. So let's go ahead and continue. That is unfortunate that I can't guarantee independence. This might start another war that might bring world tension up even higher, which would not be great for us, obviously. But as I discussed, there's not a whole lot we can do about it, unfortunately. Otherwise... I have to modify the government here. So, we were going to add a theorist, and I believe it was going to be this guy, mobile warfare expert, minus 10% mobile warfare doctrine, research time, and army experience gain, as opposed to this guy, which is cheaper, but, oh, wait a second, he gives me a max speed bonus. So it's not quite as good research bonus, but... You know, that max speed bonus actually outweighs it. You know what? I'm going to go with this instead. I had planned on picking this up, but this I think is the better buy. So let's go ahead and do that. Because we got not only a bonus to our units, but we also get a bonus to the research, just not as good. All right, well, we'll take that. And I think the army experience gain was about the same, so there was no real loss there. So that's actually a fortunate thing that I noticed that. I should have paid more attention to that earlier, I guess, but definitely going to help our research for the land doctrines, which we're going to be cranking out here now. All right, so far, no war here, but may come any moment. I think it would take us too long to turn these guys fascist so that we could guarantee independence like I was discussing there. So we're just going to have to let things go and see what happens. Oh, yeah, there it goes. So Poland declared war on Lithuania. That's unfortunate. That's going to bring world tension up. It didn't actually bring it up all that much, though. But I have a feeling here the Poles are probably going to beat the Lithuanians pretty easily. And over here, Spanish Civil War continues. They're holding out in Barcelona. And, of course, Italy has made absolutely no gains in Ethiopia. Again, I don't know how the Italians pull that off, but they're managing. Okay, now I believe there was something that I was going to do with that research. And I think it was the air getting a heavy fighter, if I remember correctly. I think that was the last thing we had to do. Of course, I could work on doctrines here. But I'll leave that to the next tech to unlock, which is only in 27 days. We'll do air doctrines, and then we might switch back to land doctrines once this pops out. But in any case, let's go ahead and get that heavy fighter. Alright, so now we have everything for 36. And for fighters, nothing else pops up until 40, so that's fine. And how's the construction going? Pretty much good here. We have all the civilian factories built. Well, except these three. But now we're working on refineries and a military factory, which we definitely need. Alright. And then we can start cranking out military factories in my mind. We should be getting more production overall due to the... that tech that we just got. Alright. Oh, there they go, capturing the I think that was the capital. But it's moved up over to here because they have another city. Although it looks like a small one. Well, they may have an opportunity to, yeah, cut off some troops. But again, I think the Poles probably will win this in the end. So we have a lot of world tension to cook off here. And not a whole lot of time to cook them off. So the British are going to have a free hand here. All right, I can modify my government yet again. I am tempted to get the increased political power so that we can do more things, turn more countries fascist. Right now, I'm kind of waiting to do those moves. But I think if we get another bonus here, we'll be able to push things more. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So we'll grab the other silent workhorse here, giving us the most political power game, as we're going for more of a political game here anyway. And now we're going to have 1.35 a day. So I feel like we can start manipulating another country here. So of the countries that we're currently manipulating, currently manipulating Czechoslovakia here, Poland, and Yugoslavia. I could work on Hungary here, but there's no real reason to do that as they're already fascist. I could work on Romania, which might be a good call. Or I could work on somebody entirely different, like maybe the Swiss or the Danes. Now, of course, a lot of these guys don't have anywhere near that much fascist support. I mean, there's a little bit in Sweden, but not a whole lot. Too late to do Lithuania. We could do other countries over here in the Baltic. But I think probably the best bet here is Romania. So we'll start influencing them. And that's only going to cost us 0.25, so I can think we can afford that for sure. And I just want a reminder of where things are at this point. 43%, and in Poland, 44%. Now, we do have that coup coming. All right, so finally Ethiopia has fallen. And world tension just plummeted. Oh, because of the peace treaty. Interesting. What did they do? Well, they took Ethiopia, so... I mean, it's not going to make a difference for the United Kingdom, but it will make one for the United States, because the United States has a more higher tension-based things. Like, for instance, this, 25%. And we were getting close to that, so it's good to see 2% cook off there. Hopefully, the fall of Republican Spain will do the same thing, but I have a feeling it won't. Oh, as a matter of fact, I think this is a good point to put a cut in the video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.